I'm so excited that you're here with me today. This video is dedicated to my demonstrator friends. So if you're expecting a video with card making, I would request that you go watch another video on my YouTube channel. This one won't actually have any card making in it, but it's going to have some great tips and tricks if you are a demonstrator and you're growing a business. So one of the things that I talked about last week was things that top demonstrators don't do, basically. And that's what we're going to kind of go over today. And I just kind of touched on it last week, but number one, right out the gate that I want to share with you is wasting time. So time is super, super important when you're running your own business. And it's one of the most difficult areas to, let's see, how do I say it? To harness. It's something I struggle with on a regular basis is time management. And so having good time management is really important. And one of the things that you can do to avoid wasting time or being that person that always says, well, I would do that, but I don't have time. The truth is we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's simply how we use it that breaks us apart. So for example, maybe you're somebody who really likes to play games on Facebook, like the little, I don't know what games there are, but games that are on Facebook. I remember there used to be one called like Farmville or something. And I have friends and family members who enjoy playing those, and that's totally fine if that's what you want to do. But it's a huge time suck. It's really easy to look up and have 3 hours go by and be like, oh my gosh, I've just spent the last 3 hours of my morning when I was supposed to be working, doing nothing but playing games on Facebook. So I highly recommend coming up with a schedule that will work for you. So this is my number one tip to avoid this. And other demonstrators that are in the top in the company, I can promise you, they are not wasting time. They are not doing things online or in their lives that's piddling away hours of time and getting nothing accomplished and not being productive. I promise you that. So here's one of my little tips. I have this and it's hanging up on my computer. And so from 6 to 7 a.m. I wake up and I work out. 7 to 8, shower and I get ready. 8 to 12, I work. I take a lunch from 12 to 1. 1 to 4, I work. And from 4 to 5, I have a break. And then in the evenings, check email. Do I always adhere to this? Absolutely not. There are times where I don't adhere to it or where I know life is going to throw me some curveballs and I'm going to have to adjust that schedule. But I always have it there so that I can continually remind myself to come back to it. And it's just a really great place to jump off from, to start from and go, okay, this is what I need to do. Excuse me. So I highly recommend coming up with a schedule that'll work for you. Maybe you work a regular job during the day, so you know your only time to work is in the evening. Then go ahead and take the time to come up with that schedule that's going to work for you. I can promise top demonstrators are not spending a bunch of time doing nothing. They're busy, busy, busy people, and they're always doing something productive, even if it's in their own personal life. So that's a huge trait that top demonstrators share, I believe. Number two, something that you will not probably find a lot of top demonstrators doing is obsessively being on Facebook groups. They are not going to be on Facebook groups commenting on everything, sharing on everything. Now, I can right off the top of my head think of a couple of exceptions to this, but I also know that those people work somewhere between 12 and 18 hours a day, and no thank you, I don't want to work those many hours. So really, in actuality, we have to also think about what do we define as work, right? Because for me personally, going out and being on all the different Facebook groups that are out there to offer and commenting on everything and being heavily involved in the groups is not really revenue generating. So you're going to hear me talk about that a lot in my videos, revenue generating. And what that means is it an activity that's going to bring me money or not? And so to spend a bunch of hours going on to Facebook groups and commenting on things, posting things. Now I go on and I post and share my creations that I've made and stuff like that, because I do like to share and I like to be part of the community. But there's just no nice way to say this. Let's just say what it is. If you're a gossip girl and you want to get in all of those threads and be commenting on everything and arguing with people and get deep in all of that, go for it, honey. But you ain't going to build a business doing that. I'm just going to tell you. Because two things, it's robbing you of your joy. It's a total time suck. It's just sucking hours out of your day that you don't even realize is happening. Now, do we all occasionally get sucked into some drama? Absolutely. It happens. But for the most part, I try to avoid it like the plague. The plague. That's how much I try to avoid it. So it's not revenue generating. It doesn't make me feel good after I've done it. And so if you'll notice, there's not a lot of top demonstrators doing that. They might occasionally comment on something or post something or share something, but for the most part, you're not going to see those people lurking around in a bunch of different Facebook groups because they don't have time. They're busy running their businesses. So that's the number two thing you're not going to see a lot of top demonstrators doing, is lurking in Facebook groups, commenting on everything, getting deep in-depth conversations, because they don't have time. They don't have time. And there's a handful of out there that, are top demonstrators that do some of that. And that is simply because they have a lot of time on their hands to do it. I have such a limited amount of hours to work each day that I simply cannot spend time doing stuff like that. This is how I contribute to my demonstrator community. I give back by doing videos like this and by sharing what I know and my knowledge, and hopefully it will help somebody else. Okay, the third thing that top demonstrators don't do is they don't miss out on trips, and they don't miss out on OnStage events. So if you're a brand new demonstrator, or you're not a demonstrator and you're watching this video and you're like, what's an OnStage event? An OnStage event is an event that is held by Stampin' Up! Every 6 months. So they usually hold it in April and May, sweet Lord, April and November. And they do these really cool events, and they are changing it up a little bit here coming up soon, but basically it's a way to congregate. We get together and we stamp and we laugh and we have fun and we connect and we network with other demonstrators and our team members. It's seriously like it's like a convention, right? But it's like all centered around stamping. So when you freak out over a stamp set, everybody else in the room is freaking out with you, and they totally get it. And so it's fun, because where else in the world can you do that? Like, I'm here by myself all day pretty much. So when I get a new stamp set and I'm all excited to use it, there's nobody here cheering me on. There's nobody here like, oh my God, I love that stamp set too. And so that energy is infectious, and it's exciting, and it's fun. And I will tell you that the only time I have seen top demonstrators miss out on one of these events is if they have a family obligation, or if it's like the logistics of it aren't going to work. But 99.9% of the time, top demonstrators always attend OnStage events. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that's great, but they make a lot of money and they're able to afford to do that. I'm going to tell you that where there's a will, there's a way. Everybody that I know who really wants something figures out how to do it. So you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to attend an event? How bad do you want to participate or grow a business? Because the thing is this, if you are not surrounded by like-minded people every once in a while, you lose your umph, you lose your mojo, you lose your energy. It starts to feel isolating and lonely. But if you attend events, you get jazzed up, you get excited, you feel good, you feel connected, you feel energized, and you get great ideas because you're networking and spending time with all these other demonstrators. So if you're running this business and you're like, I haven't made enough money to attend an event, then I'm going to say this to you with all the love that I have to give. Your priorities are in the wrong place. I truly believe that. If you are finding a way to purchase other things, if you're finding a way to do other things in your life or whatever it is, then there's a way for you to attend the events. It's simply a choice you're making to not go, which is okay. That is okay if that's how you choose and that's what you want. But if you look around at top demonstrators, at their habits and the things that they do, one of the things that they do religiously is attend events. They come together with other demonstrators and with their team members. Not just the big Stampin' Up! Events, but even smaller events. So I highly recommend getting on board and trying to attend the next OnStage event, which is coming up in November. You will not be disappointed. They will be at locals. I actually will be in Atlanta. So if you're interested in attending OnStage and you don't know which one to go to and you're near Atlanta and you would like to attend the Atlanta OnStage, I'll be there and you could come say hi to me. I would love to give you a hug. So I think that that's everything for today. We went over the 3 things that the top demonstrators don't do. They don't waste time doing useless activities online. Okay, that's something that is a time suck for everybody. So that is things like Facebook games, Pinterest, and we all can go down the Pinterest rabbit hole. Can I get an amen? I mean, I'm sorry, but I get on there to look for one idea and 30 minutes later, I'm like, good Lord, Wendy, put it down. So we all have that happen, but you have to be able to check yourself and be like, okay, get off of this, go do something productive. Number 2 is that they don't get involved in long Facebook discussions and spending a bunch of time in Facebook groups sharing and commenting and getting involved in drama. They're also usually not very negative people. They usually don't go down the rabbit hole and be negative and share a bunch of negative, ooky stuff that just brings everybody down. And number 3, they don't miss out on Stampin' Up! Events. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below if you have any questions or comments. Please always remember that I'm a human being and I appreciate it when you're kind to me. And if you would like to see any specific subject covered in the future, please comment below and let me know that as well. The link for my business budget workbook, which a lot of people have been purchasing because they're excited about getting their finances in order with their business, is below in the description of the video, along with a link to resources that I have on my blog for demonstrators. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.